Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived a humble clockmaker named Elias. His name echoed through the ages because of his extraordinary talent for crafting the most accurate clocks. These weren't just any clocks, they were magical. Their chimes carried secrets from the future and whispers of forgotten dreams. Elias poured his heart and soul into each tick-tock, believing that time wasn't just a measurement, but a melody that played out our lives. One day, he embarked on his greatest creation yet, a magnificent clock tower for the town square. Every hour, its bells would chime softly across the rooftops, a gentle reminder of the town's heartbeat. Years passed, and the clock tower became the heart and soul of the town. Children would stop at its base, mesmerized by its moving gears and hands. Lovers would stroll beneath it, sharing whispered promises as the clock chimed the hour. Elias, now old and gray, watched with a contented smile. His creation was a masterpiece, but time, like the relentless tide, kept moving forward. And one harsh winter, something unexpected happened. The clock tower fell silent. One morning, a biting wind swept through the town, rattling the windows in their frames. The sun hid behind heavy clouds, and a blanket of snow muffled all sound. As the townspeople hurried by the tower, their footsteps muffled by the snow, some complained, "Why has the clock tower fallen silent? Without its chimes, how will we tell the time?" Others said, "Elias is too old to repair it. Perhaps we should dismantle the tower and use its parts to fix our own clocks." Their words cut deeper than the winter wind. Elias, hearing their complaints, felt a deep sadness. He understood the importance of the clock tower, not just as a timekeeper, but as a symbol of hope and unity. But the icy grip of winter seemed determined to keep him inside, his hands too weak to mend it. Days turned into weeks, and the silence from the clock tower grew deafening. Just when all hope seemed lost, a small figure appeared at his door. It was a young girl named Amira, known for her kindness and curiosity. She had bright eyes that sparkled with intelligence and a smile that could light up the gloomiest day. She didn't complain or criticize. Instead, she asked, "Can I help?" Her innocent question startled Elias. No one had offered to help him. Everyone seemed intent on criticizing or dismantling his work. Tears welled up in his eyes. "How can you help, little one? The cold has frozen my hands. I can barely move them, let alone repair the clock." Amira looked at the old man and then at the tower, its bells silent and covered in snow. An idea sparked in her eyes. She said, "We don't have to fix the whole tower today. Why don't we start with the bells? They're stuck because of the ice and snow." If we can make them ring again, people will know that the clock is waking up. Elias, touched by her enthusiasm, agreed. So together, the unlikely duo set out to repair the clock. The sight of the young girl struggling to reach the high bells, her face flushed with effort, melted the old clockmaker's heart. Slowly, as they worked, the bells began to move, their movement echoing the steady beat of Amira's heart. With each bell they freed, the clock tower seemed to stir, its gears turning a bit faster, its hands twitching as if eager to resume their dance. Finally, the last bell was freed. Its clapper, frozen, stiff with ice, was the hardest part. But as Amira and Elias worked on it, the bell started to move slightly. Then more and more, until it chimed out a clear, resonant sound. The sound spread through the town, bouncing off the snow-laden roofs until it reached the ears of every townsperson. They rushed to the square, their faces a mix of surprise and disbelief. The clock tower was waking up. More sounds joined in, the ticking of gears, the whirring of shafts, the rhythmic thump of the pendulum. Finally, as if to announce its return, the clock struck one, then two, then three. Overcome with emotion, Elias took Amira's hand and said, "You were right, little one. We don't have to fix the whole clock at once. The important thing is to start. And you helped me remember why I loved making clocks in the first place." As the clock chimed, the townspeople started to listen. They realized they hadn't heard its music in years. It wasn't just a timekeeper, it was a part of their town's soul. Elias continued fixing the clock with renewed energy, his hands moving faster, his heart lighter. When the clock was finally repaired, the joy it brought to the townspeople was immeasurable. Children danced around the tower, their laughter echoing the chime of the bells. The old lovers who had shared their vows under its shade years ago embraced as the music filled the air. Even the skeptics couldn't help but tap their feet to the rhythm. Elias, watching them, felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He understood now that his clocks, with their magical chimes, didn't just whisper secrets of the future. They also echoed the stories of the present, weaving them into the fabric of time. In the years that followed, the clock tower continued to be the heart of the town. Every hour it chimed, telling the townspeople it was time to appreciate the melody of their lives. They gathered beneath the tower, sharing stories, laughter, and dreams. The clockmaker, with his young helper by his side, would watch them, a contented smile on his face. And so, the legend of the clockmaker and the young girl who saved the clock tower was passed down through generations. It reminded everyone that even the smallest person can make a big difference, and the most ordinary moments can become extraordinary if we just take the time to appreciate them. Now, Every year, on the anniversary of the clock tower's awakening, the townspeople hold a festival. The entire town participates in this celebration. Children are dressed as clock parts, dancing in the streets. Bells are rung, carols are sung, and stories of courage and kindness are shared. It's a time for everyone to reflect on the importance of community, kindness, and the magic of time. One day, Amira, now grown up, attended the festival with her son. As the crowd cheered and the bells chimed, she turned to her son and said, "This reminds me of a story I heard long ago about a clockmaker and a young girl who saved a clock tower, and the most important lesson I learned that day." Her son looked at her, eager to hear the tale. And so Amara began. It all started with a single bell, just like the one we're listening to now. And so the story continued, echoing through the joyful sounds of the festival. The legacy of Elias, the clockmaker, and the young girl who revived the town's spirit lived on, symbolized by the grand clock tower and the annual festival that celebrated their timeless tale.